Good morning. I'm excited to be here. This is a great event. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the innovations that are driving where we're at in Monsanto and more broadly. But first I'm going to step back a little bit and, for me personally, what drives innovation is need. It's clearly seeing a problem. I'm going to walk you through a story that started about almost 30 years ago. I was in a academic institution, University of Queensland, which is the premier university in Australia, much like the University of Illinois here, studying agriculture. And every summer we have long vacations in Australia, and during those vacations I'd travel to spend time with my parents. My dad worked in agriculture as well and led up agricultural development projects for the World Bank in various countries. So these weren't glamorous trips. These were trips to the most impoverished nations of the world, where we were really seeking to make material gains for them. And on one trip I went to Ethiopia, beautiful country, and during these trips typically we'd be working 15, 18 hours a day, traveling, talking to extension agents, talking to the various national agencies that ran agriculture for those countries. On one of these trips, we're in the middle of nowhere, as you often are in agriculture, traveling, and not many vehicles in this country at this time. This was about the time where they had tremendous famine, and these buses started going past, one after the other. And on the bus, people were sitting still, looking straight ahead, absolutely filled. And I counted these buses, there were 40 buses. And I said to my dad, "But what's happening here?" And he said, "Well, because of the famine in the country, they're redistributing people. It's a forced redistribution of people. And these people are being redistributed from high altitude to low altitude, and to an area of the country where there virtually was no agriculture." And I said, "Well, how are they going to survive? I mean, there's really no food where they're going." And he said, "Well, that's kind of the point. They're not going to survive." And for me, that was a very powerful lesson of the importance of agriculture in society and the role it plays in stabilizing a nation. And we heard earlier this morning about the increases that are needed across the world. And it's hard when you're sitting in Illinois to think of consequences like I just described. But if you don't meet those needs in certain parts of the world, those will be the sorts of consequences that happen. So for me, that was a very clear need, and a very clear need to jump into agriculture, and for me to really drive innovation. In Monsanto, it's a large organisation, and we've worked very diligently to connect all of our efforts so that we can understand our information. Yeah, it's not a trivial undertaking when you're spending more than $1.5 billion a year driving the most innovative science imaginable. But connecting that information really does something magical. It allows you to ask questions you haven't been able to ask before. And I think as a group of innovators and entrepreneurs, this is where the real power is. It's asking questions that, or asking them in a way you haven't been able to ask them before. And we put a lot of technology into this because we need to do science at scale. If you're going to scale from millions of plots like we run in Monsanto, tens of millions of plots around the world, to impact hundreds of millions of acres, which is what you need to impact if you're really going to change the face of agriculture, scaling is really important. So we invest a lot in automation, we invest a lot in smart equipment, we invest a lot in technology that allows scale to happen globally. And, we've heard this morning about new detection capabilities, and this really fits with being able to ask questions you haven't been able to ask before. because now you can gather information you've never been able to gather before. We've heard about gathering NDVI information throughout a crop cycle. We haven't been able to do that 10 years ago, but now you can do it routinely. You can do it on tens of millions of plots if you want to. And you can start to interpret that information and ask new questions. And those new questions lead to new insights. And those new insights really transform the way you think about products. One, you can create new products that are adapted to drought, products that are adapted to different agronomic conditions, and which is really the transformation of our company, is you can start to think about digital products. So no longer is it just a bag of seed or a jug of chemistry, but it's an advisor that comes with it on how to use that, how to adapt it to your specific circumstance. That's a big shift. We heard earlier about the investments we're making in this area. It's a substantial investment and a substantial shift for our company. But it's a shift that's extremely relevant because our grower customers view their operations as a research operation increasingly. Increasingly, you can get yield estimates off every 10 foot of your farm. And you can start to ask questions about the products you're growing and how you're growing them. And we want to meet that with the very best products and the very best advice at the point of sale, and then learn together as those products go into market. And we can do this because the world's changed. I mean, when you look at the advances that happen in the information technology area, they're staggeringly fast and staggeringly large. Coming from an agricultural background, coming from a science background, you're kind of used to a crop a year. In our company, we grow 3 to 4 crops a year. In IT, innovation happens daily, weekly. It's on a different time scale. And it leads to these sorts of advances like are in this slide. The ability to harvest and understand information is becoming close to limitless. Which really then gives rise to a whole raft of different technologies that we see in our consumer lives, different technologies that have applicability to agriculture, that have applicability to research, which really gives us an opportunity to innovate like we've never had before. And, for me, and I think this will probably resonate with this audience, when you think of these large problems like transforming agriculture, you think about many, many bodies of people and all of the things that need to happen. From my experience, one person has a huge impact. One person, one idea, one dream really drives tremendous change. I've seen it in our company. I've seen transformations of our company, and increasingly it's not driven by hundreds or thousands of people. Ultimately it is, but the ideas can come from one. So I want to leave you with a little bit of tangible kind of video to kind of give you some more oversight, or maybe not. Uh-oh. Why is it not going back?
Monsanto is leading the transformation of agriculture. Today's growers face the challenge to produce more food than ever to feed a growing population. Growers make decisions that impact their success. Decisions such as which hybrid should I plant and at what density. Risks like weather, insects, and disease can negatively impact yield. Monsanto's DeKalb hybrid set a world record 503 bushels per acre, more than 3 times the U.S. national average. We have an opportunity to create the same grower experience for every grower. To meet this opportunity, we are transforming and reimagining R&D through digital technologies. We are creating smart machines, including precision field equipment that is interconnected via real-time data. We are utilizing protected and automated growing environments. We use plants as sensors to tell us more about each and every seed. leading to increased genetic gain and delivering the right hybrid with the right trait package at the right time. We created solutions for predictive and smarter actions in our pipeline. We are building on our breakthrough science and industry-leading products so we can position our products for success every time. This is Monsanto, and this is what we do. We transform people's lives, create prosperity, and improve sustainability.
Thank you.
And last up, we have Pabori Park from Granular.